Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox and another luxury watch unboxing. Today we are focusing on a watch that launched in 2022 to mark 60 years of the cinematic James Bond. This is the Omega Seamaster Diver 300-meter James Bond 60th Anniversary Edition. So we're going to zoom out a little bit, take a look at the box. You can get a sense of the scale of the box relative to hands, relative to my arm. It has a fair amount of depth to it. And you can see it actually has a pictogram externally. Normally, these appear on a little card in Omega boxed sets, but here we have SP, which means this is a special edition. Getting a little bit closer, we're going to take a look at the inside and simply remove the external box, and we have a beautiful blue Omega Seamaster wave on a wooden, thickly lacquered box. You can see a representation of the James Bond cinematic animation that opens each film sequence. It's the tracing of the gun barrel as it attempts to fix on 007, but it's more than just decoration. As you can see here, the central circle is actually the release trigger for the box. And then once we get inside, you can see that this is a lovely boxed set, Omega and 007 co-branded. It's beautifully blue all the way around. It has a felt lining on its underside. You could see 60 years of Bond. And again, this is 60 years of the cinematic 007 since Dr. No in 1962. Now we've got a little cushion here on which your watch sits. The watch comes with two bands. One is a gray and blue NATO strap with a pin buckle system, and the other is this lovely mesh bracelet in matte stainless steel. Unlike the No Time to Die, this one is stainless steel. Let's take a quick look at some of the dimensions of the watch. It's 42 millimeters in diameter. Because of the dramatically domed plexi-like crystal on this one, it's a bit thicker than the standard watch, so 14.2 millimeters thick. It's also, from lug to lug, 49.6 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw this real quick on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. It actually wears quite nicely because the bracelet strap, and it's sort of a fusion of the two, pulls straight down out of the lugs, so no issues fitting this, even over the top. I think you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. Taking a close look, you can see it's a lovely fabric of woven stainless steel, matte finished, beautifully fluid, and incredibly supple and comfortable. It works basically like a strap rather than a bracelet, since you have perforations on one side, and then on the other side you have a buckle with a single fold deployant released by twin triggers. You can see alternate satin and polish here. The design of this buckle has been upgraded somewhat from that you see on older strap-clad Omegas. First, you can see externally it has a little bit of a different aesthetic with a pronounced bevel that wasn't historically present. And then internally, there's a little clasp that will positively cinch the pin into the strap and hold it fast so it can't pull out by accident. You can also see the use of spring-loaded ceramic pin snaps internally to make sure that this component stays crisp over time. And it does work like a strap, but it also works like a strap with one of these minderless buckles. So the excess strap bracelet length is fixed underneath the clasp body and the other side of the bracelet, so there's no need for minder loops to hide the excess length. Taking a look at the case, you can see the helium escape valve, which in this generation of Diver 300 meter can actually be opened during the dive. We have a 120 click bezel. Let's hear it. This is one of the most positive Diver 300 bezels I've encountered. You can see it features a ceramic inlay. It is unidirectional, 120 click to be sure. We have a little 60 in place of the luminescent pip, reminding you of 60 years of 007. You can also see a early 60s tribute domed crystal designed to evoke plexiglass, and an early 60s vintage lollipop-style seconds hand, which is another nod to the Dr. No era. Now, when we turn off the light, you can see that this is a luminescent bezel, and the entire bezel is loomed. We also have differential lume for the index at 60 and the minute hand, so you can tell them apart at a glance in the depth or in the dark. Now, a nod to more recent Bond history is this lovely aluminum dial, and it is an aluminum dial with a 1990s style Omega wave rather than the more recent laser-etched ceramic. So this is designed to evoke the Diver 300 meter that James Bond would have worn in 1995 in GoldenEye when Pierce Brosnan took his first and best turn as 007. He was actually wearing a quartz version of the watch. A chronometer would later be used, but that initial one was a quartz timepiece. So we don't have the deep deeply grooved modern wave. We have this lovely vintage 90s wave. We also have a no-date dial, which cleans up the dial considerably, and you can see a refinement that Brosnan wouldn't have known. Applique indices rather than printed features, but we still have those skeletonized bond hands from the Brosnan era. Now, here's a feature that pretty much spans every era of the cinematic bond. We have a very cool Moray effect as the spiral at center, like the grooves of a rifled firearm, rotates in sync with the lollipop seconds hand on the dial side. And of course, we have that grooved tracking that you would often see at the beginning of a James Bond film as the rifled barrel attempts to fix on 007. That's the same sequence being referenced on the box itself. We have a automatic winding master chronometer, certified caliber 8806, automatic 55-hour power reserve, stop seconds, free sprung with a full balance bridge for toughness, anti-magnetic escapement, balance staff, and silicon hairspring, 25,200 vibration per hour beat rate, and it pivots on 35 joules. It is a master chronometer, so tested in 6 positions for chronometry, but also power reserve, winding efficiency, shock resistance, water resistance, and anti-magnetism, and it is resilient to over 15,000 Gauss, so technically very accomplished. You can't see as much of the movement due to the case-back graphics, but you can see enough of it to feel like you're getting your money's worth. Now, taking a quick look at the inside of the box, you can see that appropriate for a spy-themed watch, there is a secret compartment, and there is a little pouch inside which the NATO strap in blue and gray with its pin buckle would have been fit. This one doesn't have it, but I want to let you know that it ordinarily would be part of the boxed set. If you feel particularly strongly and it would seal the deal, I'm sure we could find that strap and buckle for you. That would ordinarily be an accessory item with this boxed set. But let's take a quick look at what else we get. You can see we have a styrofoam lined box with a Omega multi-manual, multi-languages, multiple geographic regions. As if you turn to the back, you can see all of the global service centers and points of sale from Omega's vast international network. And then you can see that they sort of factor by grouping. This is a manual for just about every caliber that Omega makes. And so you will find the 8806 in here if you need specifics regarding the limits of the guarantee, which is 5 years out of the factory, or things like handling and operation. You can find them in here. And then we have a lovely little white James Bond themed Omega card collection, and let's take a quick look at what we get. Here we have a pictograms card. We have a master chronometer certification, that is the METAS standard, which incorporates the COSC standards but goes further, created by Omega and the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, which is credited right there. And then we have the international warranty right here. Now, the pictograms are always the fun part of these card sets. So turn it all over, and you can see there's a lovely little hologram on the front. It is very trick. We have all these pictograms, so I'm going to try to guess all of them. I used to be pretty sharp at this. So A is going to be single-sided anti-reflection. It's on the underside of the crystal. It is a rotor winding automatic. It is going to meet the COSC chronometer standards. It is a coaxial escapement. It has a screw-down crown, 300-meter water resistance, 5-year warranty, sapphire caseback, sapphire crystal, METAS master chronometer, anti-magnetic to over 15,000 Gauss, SI-14 silicon hairspring, and the helium gas escape valve for you saturation divers. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for questions. A quick market report as of the beginning of April 2023. The retail on this is $7,900, but you will find that the aftermarket is between $13,000 to $14,000. Reach out to me again for up-to-the-minute details on the pricing of this James Bond 60th anniversary.